Welcome to the Best of the Filmmakers show.
Welcome.
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 And welcome.
Welcome to the Best of the Filmmakers show.
The 11th season.
How you guys doing, man? Levittown, Long Island. That's where I was from. Yeah, one thing about Levittown, I'm sure you guys all know that there's no basements, right? No basements. So as a kid, I had no place to play. I used to envy all my buddies over in North Montauk. But be careful what you wish for, folks. Because now I live in a basement.
You know, I must say, you really have a talent in a lot of areas.
Yeah.
Like that clip just now, you made everybody really laugh.
Yes.
And you're fantastic about it. And that's when you do your stand-up. You go more than just to Governors for stand-up, right?
Yeah, all over Long Island, wherever and whenever I can, I get on the stage.
Well, how did you get into stand-up? And what about you when he's standing up?
How did this all start, actually? I thought, didn't you look into the comedy class to help with DJing, MCing,
Right,
and
well,
all of that, the public speaking part of it, right?
If you go back to the 90s, I used to introduce rock bands on stage.
Do you remember that?
So I'd go up on stage and introduce the bands, and sometimes I had to, they were still getting ready, so I had to talk. So a long story short, I would be the transition between the band and the audience.
Like a filler kind of thing, right?
Right, so
That's very nice.
So that was in the 90s, and then I was DJing a lot, and I was having problems talking in front of crowds. Not that I was nervous. I was messing up names. I was thinking too fast, and I was just too because I'm doing the MC, I'm doing the music, and I'm doing the equipment, and I'm talking to people. So I'm one person doing 5 different things. I'd start to forget so I needed to calm down a little bit. So there was a public speaking class. It was a brochure at Governors. Nicole and I used to love. We went to Governors.
We go to Governors a lot.
Every weekend we went to Governors.
Before the kids.
Every
right?
weekend.
We were always in
We were at the brokerage in Belmore.
Yeah.
We were at Governor's Comedy
Like, we had
Club.
nothing to do on a Saturday, we would just go see a comedy club.
I like that.
Yeah, and that's pretty
Very
much,
cool.
and we're very go with the flow, we
Yeah.
don't plan anything, we just let pick up and go.
And we live very close to the brokerage, so we used to
Yeah.
go to the brokerage
all the time.
all the time.
Yeah. Wow.
So long story short, we were there and there was a brochure on the table, learn public speaking, learn the art of stand-up comedy, Stand-Up University, which it's a comedy school that's taught at Governor's Comedy Club.
Wow.
So in 2000, I signed up for the class, Stand-Up University. It's taught by Rich Walker, comedian Rich Walker.
I know Rich Walker, right.
Peter Bales.
I've heard of him too.
And so I took the class. I mean, I was at Dangerfield. I did stand up on that stage at Dangerfield,
Right.
and that was crazy. But the unfortunate thing is, every year Ronnie Dangerfield was at Westbury Music Fair.
Wow.
Every year he's at Westbury Music Fair, and I said, "I'll see him next year. I'll see him next year."
And then, unfortunately,
And what happened?
they pass on.
He passed away. I never saw Ronnie Dangerfield, but I learned my lesson because now I'm seeing everybody I want
Well,
to
that's
see.
why we go to concerts and all
Like
that,
see
right?
Nicks,
Yeah,
and we saw
just
Jimmy.
never
We
know.
saw Jimmy Buffett.
We did.
We got to see him twice.
Yeah.
So we're not saying next year.
Right.
No more next years.
No more. That's it.
But Ronnie's
Do
the
it.
best. Ronnie is the best. Robert Klein is awesome. Richard Pryor. I mean, my God, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Just
This whole strip right
Just
here,
it.
actually.
yeah.
It's the best of the best.
Is that a guilty pleasure to be obsessed with watching stand-up comedy? Maybe that's my real guilty pleasure.
Maybe.
All American is my food pleasure.
Yeah.
But my life is stand-up comedy. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. And I started doing stand-up comedy because, on stage, because I was doing stand-up comedy in places like your mother's kitchen table.
Right.
And nobody wants to hear stand-up comedy
Right.
on Thanksgiving.
Right.
I was forcing them to listen to my jokes. But then I realized there's a time and a place for everything.
Right.
So I hit the stage at Governor's Comedy Club.
Yeah.
And that's why I started doing stand-up.
Yeah.
Because my mind keeps thinking of jokes nonstop. It won't stop. And I can't be telling her. She told me to shut up. Don't you ever
No, I
rest?
find the post-its all over the house, index cards everywhere.
Don't you say that-
He's got lists of stuff. It's like it's almost like a songwriter.
You say,
In a way.
doesn't
He's always his mind. Yeah, I do
doesn't
say
your
that.
mind ever rest?
Yes.
Everything's a joke, and she gets sick of it.
then what happens sometimes when you really get something serious, sometimes they don't believe
People don't believe
you.
me. You don't believe the real stuff.
That's what happens.
Yeah. So there's a time and place for everything, and my time and place is on stage. I got to save all the stuff. And the cool thing about comedians, and the comedians here in Levittown, Long Island comedy, and New York City comedy, the best part is that we are one big family where everybody has the same problem, I guess. Everybody has the same thoughts.
Right.
We're all the same.
Right.
You go to a diner with comics, and you could go there at 11 o'clock at night, and you'd be leaving at 5 a.m.
Right.
And it's like time like
It's
that.
just so much.
It's just so much. And it's all the same brain waves.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So that's the deal.
All right.
And so I took the class, and I met about 5 or 6 friends that I'm still friends with today.
Oh, wow.
We're like best friends. We went through the ringer together. We started out together. We did open mics together. You know, we failed at it together. We got booed off stage together. We made huge
You
mistakes.
used to go to like coffee shops a
Yeah.
lot. Coffee, that was the thing back then too.
It was like
Those were
comedy
like
boot
nights.
camp. It was
Yeah.
comedy boot
Wow,
camp.
okay.
You know, but we survived it, and back and forth through the years with having children and being married and working, I've done stand-up. And here I am 24 years later, and I'm still doing it when I
24
can.
years.
When I, you know.
So now, from Governors doing stand-up to your show, which we've been on a few times, I'm happy about to say that, that show is Good Times, Bad Times.
Right.
With Joey Petroni,
Right.
of course. And how did that come about?
Well, Good Times, Bad Times at Governor's Comedy Club. A good friend of mine, Don Sill, and he's related to Tony Walker. I forget how they're related.
Through
brother-in-law,
marriage, I
through
believe,
marriage.
somehow.
So I met Tony Walker through my good friend Don Sill.
Okay.
I know Don Sill from the 90s.
90s.
So Don introduced me to Tony Walker, who runs Governor's Comedy Podcast. You know, you talked about it, and I was already working at WGBB radio station.
Right.
Over in now it's in Merrick. So during the pandemic, WGB radio shut down for a little while because of COVID, and Governor's Radio Podcast opened up before WGBB.
Oh.
So I started at Governor's, and man, it was awesome. All the people I met there, and the connections I made there, it's like one big happy family.
Wow.
It's a nice place. Let's watch a clip on that right now. And Joey, when we come back, he'll tell us all about what went on this clip.
Sure.
Here we go.
The funny part about that commercial we just watched is that Jerry had white powder all over him. And every time we had to take another take, Jerry's eating more and more donuts.
Yeah, and I had to lose 9 more
I think he was making
pounds.
mistakes on purpose. 'cause he wanted to finish-
Yeah.
You were making mistakes on purpose. You wanted to finish your donut. You guys were awesome on that, you know?
Well, you know what? I'm a
much fun.
ham sandwich myself.
Guilty pleasures. That's the name of it, guilty pleasures.
Yes,
That's right.
and that was good guilty pleasures. And you know what's funny about it? It's those are pretty heavily watched when we find out what they're looking at.
Right.
You know, I will say this: the car show, which is the 50s and 60s nostalgia car club.
Right.
That was actually the most watched show.
Wow.
Leading in with yours
Yeah.
and Joe Fuco, the Music Center, which we'll
Wow.
be back with Joe as well.
Yeah. Wow.
But it depends on who is watching it. So if a lot of car fanatics were watching it, that's when the numbers went up.
Right.
When you're doing the comedy and it's broken down, you tend to take the prize. That's
Wow.
what we noticed.
Yeah. Wow.
And I will say that the Music Center, this is over all the other shows of the year,
Right.
because Joe Fuco has a very big following himself. That was that. But back to you guys and guilty pleasures. I think that we ate all the chocolate when we got home. What about you guys?
We did. I don't want to put a damper on it, but when I eat a lot of chocolate, I get a headache. So next day I woke up with a headache.
Oh.
But it was a guilty pleasure, you know.
One day out of the year.
I'd rather drink beer and get a headache than eat chocolate and get a headache. But no, it was awesome. Thank you for bringing the chocolate.
Oh, quite
and
welcome.
the questions were funny too, right?
They were. And we should tell everybody where these questions come from.
Well,
The two of us work on them ahead of time.
we work on it before time, and you know, the one I liked was the binge watching with the Netflix shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, we
I
Oh,
know
wow.
she's still
Yeah.
doing it. Even
Yeah.
the show was what last week, and she's still doing the.
I always try to find something that I can.
Well, what happens with the Netflix and the guilty, you know, if it's a guilty pleasure, it's an addiction. Like
Sure.
It's like a soap opera, but the soap operas you had to wait till the next day.
Right.
When a soap opera came on, you had to wait for the next day.
Sure.
With Netflix, you don't have to wait for the next day.
No.
So she's like, oh, let's just watch one more. Oh, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I just want to see what happens. One more.
Let me
3 o'clock in the morning.
Wait, I'm going to tell a funny story because this happened during pandemic, right? We're all in lockdown.
Right.
What show did you and I binge watch until about 4 in the morning one time?
Oh, it was
We watched, do you remember?
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
wow.
could not stop watching that show, and there was one night, like we literally were up until about 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
On a week, I was like, this is insane.
Just
we watched
one
like
more.
10
Just
shows in a row.
one
We just
more.
wanted to see what was going to happen.
So
That's all you really could do that whole
But
year.
when we were younger, you had to wait to the following
Yeah.
following week. You know, you
Of
watch
course.
it. Right. You watch
Right.
it.
Yeah, because I think my boss watched Breaking Bad when it actually was out, and you had to wait every week for
Oh,
a
sure.
new episode to come out.
But
Like,
now you
you
watch
just
the
watch
whole
it
thing.
the whole season.
And
in
that's
just
one of the
week,
reasons
you
that
know?
Netflix and Amazon
Yeah.
are excelling.
Right.
Because people watch it when they want to watch it.
Exactly.
As long
On their
as they
time
want.
schedule, they don't have to wait.
Right.
And it turns into a guilty pleasure.
It does.
Yes.
That's right.
Right? Because
Yeah.
you become addicted to,
Yeah.
to shows.
Actually, I got
Bad.
so many emails on the artwork because I put that little emoji with the devil on there.
Right, right.
So people were writing me. They were asking me, "What are you guys actually going to really talk about?"
Right.
It
And
could,
it's-
yeah.
I was like, get out of here.
Yeah, it could be perverted,
Yeah.
right?
It could be. It could
Yeah.
be. We're just not like that, though.
No.
And
It
that's
was clean.
It
Yeah.
was very clean. But it's very interesting to find out, like, what we did and these across the board with the questions. You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot of fun. Every time we do those question games, it's a lot of fun. I like the one where we had the buzzer that time.
Oh yeah, that was.
It's like a game show.
Now let me ask you this. Now, once again, you're on something else. You're
Okay.
luckily not famous all over the place.
I'm famous in my house. She knows me. She knows me.
That's good because she doesn't know me.
All right.
I'll be real quick. I won't cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I'm probably. You said it last night. I'm probably the only person in this neighborhood who said, "I'm getting ready to go into the car," and I go, "Any neighbors outside?" So I'm trying to run to the car so they don't see. Like
He was all done.
I was all
and is
rocked out,
ready to
you
go open
Oh.
up the band or
Oh,
introduce the
my
band. So he left the house looking like crazy. You know,
But
just not as
friend's
normal.
band-
Wild. I
Yeah,
know.
like,
my
I love
friend's
it.
band's a Motley Crue cover band.
Right.
Oh, hell
So
yeah.
I'm sure they say
But
the
he,
same
as
thing
we're
wearing
coming,
makeup
as
running
we're
out of the
going to the
house.
front door, though, you said to me, "Is any of the neighbors out?" And I got in the car. I said, "I'm probably the only wife in this town whose husband ever says,
Oh,
the neighbors out. I have to leave the house. The neighbors out."
Oh.
That's
But
crazy.
go ahead. So what were you saying? I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. You're a very complex individual. That's
There's always something.
Um,
I
going
keep
on.
myself amused, man.
Good.
Always.
Absolutely.
I know you are on WGBB.
Right.
Right.
Now, how does that differ from what we do over at Governor's with the 4-camera job? And you're on regular radio. That's a regular FM station.
Right. That's 95.9 FM, and it's also 1240 AM. And I always thought this was cool. It's Long Island's oldest radio station. It's Long
Is that
Island's
right?
oldest radio station.
WGBB.
WGBB. That's the station that my parents listened to when I was a kid to see if the schools were closed on a snow day.
Oh.
So you had to put on WGBB
Right.
radio. That was the only way to find out. There was no
Right.
News 12, there was none of that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So we sit and listen to an AM radio, and here I am now on AM radio. And sometimes I do the school closings just for kicks and giggles.
Right.
I can't say the other word. I'll do school closings for snow days. But what's different about it is the radio show is a half-hour show.
Right.
The Governor's Comedy Podcast is a 1-hour show.
Right.
So that's a huge difference right there.
Right there.
The other thing is, like you said, there's more cameras. It's set up more for video over at Governor's, which is awesome. And the radio station is basically, I have a few cameras in there, and it's quicker. It's quicker guests, quicker
It's
topics.
the same
Yeah.
topics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I think it's probably better to have a band at Governor's Comedy Podcast
Right.
because it's more spread out and it's
Sure.
more
More time to talk
microphones.
about
and
things. And
Sure,
more time.
sure.
Yeah.
You're not so rushed.
Yeah.
But for a single guest or 2 or 3 people, it's great at WGBB.
Yeah.
WGBB I do weekly, every
Yes.
Monday night from 7 to 7:30,
Right.
and Gov's Comedy Podcast once or twice a month. Depends on who I'm getting.
Okay.
I love them both.
No
I
kidding.
love being
I
at
think
both
that's
places.
really cool.
Yeah.
I remember listening when. See, I'm a city kid.
Yes.
So when I came to Long Island, it's probably when you're talking about that station being the oldest one. I only remember W95, PLJ
Right.
95.5.
Right.
Yeah.
And at that time, they didn't have pictures, they weren't up. I used to listen to Carol Miller then.
Yes,
Smokey.
she's
Voice.
still
Right,
She's
yeah.
still on XM Radio now, Carol Miller.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh my God! When I get this publicity shot, because I wrote, please send me a publicity
Right.
shot, which PLJ was WABC Radio actually.
Right.
Okay.
And oh my God, I'm like in love with her. And at the time, I'm going out with Joann. Because we were still kids at Friendlies.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, oh my God, don't show her this. I'm like hiding it. I was in love with an older
Guilty
woman.
pleasure.
She was. Now,
That's the real guilty pleasure, right?
Karen
Truth
Miller.
comes out.
She had that smoky voice.
Get the Zeppelin out. Get the Zepp out.
Yeah, so she was really cool. I remember that's what I used to listen to.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So you're on the radio, and what is the difference between the two in terms of guests and how you treat the show?
Well, I think I actually handle both shows the same. I have Tony Walker, who works the board over there, who helps out with phone calls or
Oh,
anything.
he works there too.
He works on my show, so he's got the
Okay.
soundboard and any phone calls that come in, and we talk back and forth. And then at WGBB, I have Trevor, who's been there for years. Guy, he's awesome, and actually both Tony and Trevor, they're like.
Oh wait,
not
I
that
get the wrong impression. So Tony Walker, who I know,
Is at Governor's
is
Comedy
at
Podcast.
Governors, right?
Right.
Whereas Trevor's
Trevor's working at
Radio station,
WGBB.
yeah.
I see.
So what's nice about it is that you have somebody helping you out behind
Sure.
the scenes, and you know, and it's a huge help. Both are pretty much the same. I think at WGBB I play more music. I'll play 2 or 3 songs.
Okay.
I have friends. Trash Can Baby that's the name of the band. Trash Can Baby. It's a '90s band.
Oh my God, what a name! That's an
Um,
awesome name.
I'm still friends with the guys. The band's not together, but once in a while they will play again somewhere on Long Island. My best friend was the bass player. He unfortunately passed away in '92.
Oh, wow.
But their music is still strong today, and once in a while I'll play one of their songs. There's a song called Cold as Winter. It was written for my friend Abe Hopper. He was the bass player. He passed away. The song Cold as Winter I'll play it. You can play it on the show here. It was written for Abe Hopper. He wrote a song called Sleazy Money, where he wrote the bass line with the bass.
Oh, wow.
The beginning's
Oh.
a bumper to the bumper. And that track to Sleazy Money, I took the track, and that's how we were introduced.
I was just going to ask you.
as husband and wife
Is that
into
the
the
song?
Ah,
So
That's
ladies
right.
and gentlemen, for the first time,
Yeah.
as husband and wife, and it was
To
my
that bass
friend's
line. When we
bass
walked
line.
into the
I looped it.
reception.
I looped the
Yeah.
bass line.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
came into
Yeah.
him.
Oh, that's very cool.
He couldn't be there,
Yeah.
but he was there.
He was
Spirit.
there in
In
spirit
spirit.
and in music.
Right.
And then years later,
Yeah.
my friend told
Yeah.
me, the singer told me the lyrics were about. I got introduced to my wedding
All right.
to a song about that.
That's okay.
Now, let me ask you a question. Besides the incredible schedule that you keep to be on the air or in front of people, et cetera, what do you like as a married couple? People are going to want to know that. Like, you seem like
Right.
best friends, first of
Yeah.
all. And I think that's why we gravitate to you, too.
Oh, really?
And
You're
what do
like best friends.
What do you do for your downtime together? Just to.
I think we pass out. Like, we have on-off switches. We have on-off switches.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go outside, get something out of the car, come back in, she's off. You know,
Right,
It's like, oh,
yeah.
she's sleeping, you know. So, around the house, I think we do separate stuff, you know. And then once in a while, we come together and watch TV or whatever it is. We go to church together, you know, stuff like that. She walks the dog on her own, I won't walk the dog.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Not that it's beneath me. But
No, but you're union, and union people
Yeah.
don't walk dogs.
Yeah,
we
that's
get
I
that.
put the garbage out.
Exactly.
We have our
And
separate
you
chores. We
there.
have our separate chores. No, we are kind of like best friends. We do everything together. You know, we're lucky.
I think
Yeah.
you're best friends
Yeah.
because you're always with each other,
Right.
which is really nice, you know.
Yeah.
I would say she's like your, I don't want to say arm girl in a bad way,
Right.
but she's definitely your arm girl, and you know,
She's your buddy.
she's your buddy,
Aw,
and she
thank
makes
you.
you shine. You know.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
You don't have to yes
How
me
many
to
years
no.
are you married?
24 years.
Coming up.
We got married in
Oh,
2000.
God bless.
Yeah.
We got married in
Thank you.
2000. I started comedy in 2000.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of funny?
Yeah.
It's
You know, it's
funny.
crazy. When the kids were younger, it's a blur. It's like everything just
yeah.
happens so fast, and you just, I continued working throughout, and so we're always just so much going on, and
Right.
now it's kind of like, we only have one home usually, Our son is off weekends visiting
Yeah,
his
Saturday
girlfriend,
Saturday
or
night's coming.
the other
It's just-
daughter's
it's
up
just-
at school.
It's the two of us on a
So
Saturday night.
sometimes it's
Oh,
not.
wow.
It's
really
it's.
good.
I guess it's what they say when you rediscover yourself.
What's your sign?
Yeah, it's like,
What's
right.
your sign?
Yeah.
What's your favorite
It-
color?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're in that period of reconnecting,
Discovery.
rediscovering. You know, what do we want to do now? We don't have to be,
Right.
you know, babysitting is not. We don't have to worry about that
Right.
anymore.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
we can just do whatever we want. We can go away for a weekend if we
Yes.
want to do. Right. So this is like all new, where I'm slowly letting go of the notion of like everybody needs to be home.
Yeah.
We have to travel together.
Right.
We all have to be together. And
Right.
this is a transition period
Right.
for me.
It's not
It's
an
hard
easy
to kind of.
notion to let go of.
It's a
though.
lot. It's
Well, speaking of that, where is Sarah now?
I don't even know actually. She left, but
We have one at 17, so she's still on the younger
I don't
side.
give
She's
a
turned
crap.
17, so
Something
we
that
have to
you can
keep an eye
edit
on
out.
one.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like a Saturday night will come and there's nobody home, and we look at each other and we're like, do you want to go out to eat?
we want to just go to bed. I don't even know what to do.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
what
a
do we
big
do
one
with
with
ourselves?
us.
Yeah. like it's like go out and like
Right.
eat and drink, or just go
Well,
to bed early.
Yes.
But you don't want to throw in the towel. So sometimes it's kind of funny if you Saturday night nobody's home and we're cleaning the bedroom or something stupid like that. Hang up
we're just
shelves
doing some
somewhere.
kind of
Right.
random
You know?
project.
Yeah,
that
we
we
Yeah,
never
we do some
did.
kind of
Yeah.
home improvements project.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
We concur. So you got 3 kids, 1 son, 2 daughters.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, so that's great.
Our son just graduated in electrical trade school.
Yep.
Wow.
600 hours in trade school. And he
Excellent.
just started a job now where he's doing low voltage wiring.
The communications company.
He went to
so-
college for 2 years, and then he went to a trade school. He loves wiring stuff up. He could build computers.
You realize after 2 years
I'm
of
going
school.
to need to know him.
Yeah,
at
he's
some
like a
point.
very.
Yeah. Oh,
He's more hands-on. He realized
Yeah.
I can't be sitting. I have a desktop.
that's
I'm at the
good.
computer 12 hours a day.
No,
so he's like, I
I-
could not be doing what you're doing, sitting and staring at a screen for
Right.
10 hours a day.
He's a-
So he knows what he wants to do,
I love
and
trade schools.
yeah, he's on his way.
So now, you tend to wind up on TV all over the place. How are you in the right place at the right time?
It's
Walk
not,
to the plane.
I'm like a magnet to it sometimes. It's funny because like I was at Tobey 2 or 3 summers ago, and I go up to the snack to get something.
Snack bar,
snack bar.
yeah.
And News 12's there because there's sharks in the water. So I walk by the camera. I just make a comment that said something like,
Oh boy.
you know, Jaws' anniversary's coming up in 2 days. I said you could come down here to Tobey and see Jaws.
On August 12th, the town of Tobey Beach is going to show the movie Jaws. And I actually have to work that night, but it worked out for us. We had to see Jaws live.
And they're filming.
Oh God.
And it was you know, it's cool. You know, it's like I don't know. I'm like a magnet to some of these.
A magnet to
I
television.
can attest to that because we'll be out something random, and like he'll either recognize somebody that he knows, or it's just the camera always seems to find you.
Well,
So
even my
it's
daughter. Like
happened
my
before.
daughter's birthday, we went
Yeah.
to All American to get
Burger.
All
Yes.
American burgers,
Oh.
and then we go down to the end of the road there, Alhambra Road. At the end, there was a small beach. I don't know if it's still there. And News 12's down there doing a video story on the beach that's down, you know, the park they're building. And my daughter's there, and next thing you know, she's on News 12.
The park is all for it.
Let's by the water, and I think things will like look good around the water.
Several residents came out
And
to
it's her birthday. It's like, so that night, I tell her grandmother, I tell my mom, I go, put on News 12. And there's my daughter on her birthday on News 12
Yeah.
being interviewed.
That's
So
funny.
just like strange things like that happen. But it's
Now, I met you on Madhouse TV.
that's right.
That's the first time I ever saw you.
Yes.
And Vicki Mealy, one of the owners of Madhouse TV,
Right.
tapped me on the shoulder and said, "You should know him." And I said, "Who is he?" I didn't know you at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I'm producing these 5 shows.
Right.
And she said, "That's Joey Petroni."
Right.
And I go, oh, okay. And I'm trying to like be respectful because I didn't know everybody that Tom and Vicki knew
Right.
when I was just at Madhouse TV.
Yeah.
I had to learn, you know.
Right.
So my thing with cars is I had a Delta 88.
I remember those.
Big car.
Big
I
Delta,
got it for free. My brother-in-law used to sell new cars, and somebody brought this car in and just get rid of it. So it was a Delta 88, a monster car, and it was rusted. It was a mess. But I went to Home Depot, and I said, listen, my shed's rusting. I didn't want to tell them what I was painting. Because I knew it was metal. I said, my shed is getting all rusted up. I said, what would you use to paint the shed? And I said, we use this patch kit to, you know. So I bought all the stuff to fix a shed, but I actually fixed my car on the driveway.
Yeah.
And I was out there in my driveway. I was living out in Bayshore, and I have a roller, and I'm painting the car black. and I'm doing it early in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, and one of the neighbors walking by with his dog, and he goes, "Now that's how you do it." I painted my car with a roller, but it actually looks so much nicer than like rusting.
Absolutely.
So I painted the whole car with a roller.
I also want to thank you for watching today's Best of the Filmmakers show. And it was a great insight to Joey Petroni and his wife Nicole, because honestly, you've all written in about them. We've seen them. You've seen us all together with them, and now you're going to find out what a cool couple they are together.
Yes.
So thanks for watching. We'll see you next
I got a
week
cute dog too.
Aww.
on the Best of the Filmmakers show. And now we have a dog too. Good night.